Center for Entrepreneurship. I'm so happy to have you here this evening. The Bay Challenge recognizes the progress and potential of Babson Ventures as they seek to solve problems and create impact. This is the 14th year of the competition, and we had a record-breaking number of applications this year. It is so exciting to see that grow year after year and to see the ecosystem really embrace the competition. This year's finalists have worked very hard to get to today. They went through multiple judging rounds and just yesterday competed at semifinals. I know you're excited to see them pitch. I am too. But first, we have some thank yous. We'd like to thank our donors, the Butler Family Foundation, John Campbell, Gautam Gupta, Joshua Hanfling, Stephen H. Kramer and Michael London, Ariant Potney, David B. Reagans, Gobind Sani and his daughter Sabrina L. Sani, and Sharon Sennett in memory of Sadel Sakovitz, the founder of the Babson College Bee Center. Sharon and Pete Jenner are very important partners to the Blank Center. We are grateful for their partnership year after year in helping the finalists prepare for this evening. And thanks to Sharon's personal generosity, the runner-ups in the undergraduate track will receive an extra $1,000 award. So thank you, Sharon. I'd also like to thank our in-kind sponsor, Cummings Properties, and a big thank you to the 4 centers of the Arthur M. Blank School for Entrepreneurial Leadership for sponsoring special awards this evening. They are the Blank Center, of course, the C. Dean Metropolis Institute for Technology and Entrepreneurship, the Frank and Eileen Center for Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership, and the Institute for Social Innovation. Let's get to the pitches. Our alumni track judges this evening, Sarah Ganan. She's the owner of Strategic Marketing Consulting, and she helps CEOs of growth-oriented, knowledge-based consulting firms increase their revenue by deploying proven marketing strategies as a fractional CMO. She brings to the table experience-based insights and capabilities from her unique combination of past roles as a C-level executive leader in a consulting firm, an advisor to growth-oriented businesses, and a marketing leader driving unprecedented growth, and a Babson MBA alumna. Welcome back. Cheryl Kaiser is Babson's executive in social innovation. For 15 years, she served as the founding executive director of the Institute for Social Innovation, creating a place where Babson students could challenge the changing role of business in creating a more just, equitable, and sustainable world. Cheryl continues to shape the future of responsible business, teaching and modeling the power of entrepreneurial leadership and relational design. G2 is the Chief Revenue Officer at ShipBob and a go-to-market leader with experience launching and scaling teams in sales, customer success, and operations. He spent 15 years at HubSpot in international sales and customer success, and most recently held the role of EVP Customer Success there. He's also a limited partner in Stage 2 Capital, the first VC firm run and backed by over 500 go-to-market leaders. And I was personally thrilled to welcome him to Babson this spring as the Blank Center's newest entrepreneur in residence. Our first finalist this evening is H2 Fusion Technologies.
Hello. Yep. Hello, so when Hurricane Irma hit Miami, it left the city without power and without diesel. And we had mandatory evacuation, so we went out of town. When we came back, this is what we found. And there was still no diesel. We were lucky to have a backup generator. So I told my wife, hey, I need to get out of town, and I need to find diesel. So I drove around town, called all distributors. Nobody had any diesel. So I came back home empty-handed, and this is what happened when I told my wife I didn't find any diesel. I'm kidding, I broke my arm during the MBA, but it nearly happened. So, my name is Eduardo Alarcón. I'm a Babson MBA, class of 2024. I'm the founder of H2 Fusion Technologies. And we are developing a clean hydrogen backup power system that works when nothing else does. So as we've seen, access to emergency fuel is an issue. And we believe there's no alternative backup power solution. And that's where we come in. Our hydrogen backup power system is the solution. So let me tell you more. Again, under high demand, emergency fuels is an issue to access. But furthermore, diesel generators produce significant amount of pollution and noise. But yet they're the dominant player in the market. And hydrogen is a viable alternative to fossil fuels. Yet it's difficult to store, difficult to stack, it's expensive, and it requires a lot of infrastructure. That's where we'll keep becoming. Our solution creates zero emissions, it's non-toxic, it's recyclable, and requires no infrastructure. It also is easy to store, easy to stack, and easy to distribute. So we've licensed a patented process that converts hydrogen into a semi-solid state or slurry paste that can pack up to 10 times the power of lithium batteries. Used with a cartridge system and a PM fuel cell, it delivers clean, sustainable backup power that requires no infrastructure, creates zero emissions, and is recyclable. So this is our TAM, the US backup power market, which is around $6.4 billion, or was in 2024. Our SAM is a US residential backup power market, which was around $2.7 billion and growing. And our target user is a US residential homeowner that already owns a diesel generator or is thinking about buying one. This is our team, of course myself, I have Juan Munera, who's a PhD in material sciences, and Mahmoud Omar, who's a PhD in energy resources, both with sector experience. These are the inventors and the advisors, and I'm proud to say Professor Mark Rice is one of my advisors. We also have a strong relationship with the University of South Florida, a leading R&D center in the US for alternative energy, and who also granted us global exclusive rights for the technology. And we also have a strong relationship, or a strong track record with the Department of Energy, who already awarded $5 million grant to the inventors initially for this technology. So our business model is to produce green hydrogen in-house, manufacture the slurry in-house, outsource the manufacturing of the cartridges and the PM fuel cells, then pack it in-house and then sell directly to consumers or via distribution and licensing. So we perform a micro test and we talked to diesel generator owners, and we found that our solution needs to be cost effective, it needs to require low maintenance, financial incentives help, safety features are very important obviously, but there's definitely a willingness to adopt this innovative solution. So these are some of our competitors. We have Power Paste and Hydrolyte, which also have a hydrogen paste technology. However, their technology requires higher temperatures and higher pressures, making them more difficult to scale. And then Generac, who's the big gorilla or dominant player in the diesel generator market. And those are some of our indirect competitors. So we're looking to disrupt the market. Just with 5 kilograms of paste, we can power a home up to 3 days, and potentially at a lower cost per kilowatt hour than diesel. And this is how we're going to use the BETA Award. It's really going to help us for product development, safety testing, IP and licensing support, and customer development. And this is some of the milestones, and we're happy to announce that we recently applied to a $500,000 grant from the Department of Energy. And the program director was very excited about our technology and also mentioned that we should apply to 2 additional grants that are a very good fit for our technology. In addition, we recently had a meeting with the Cummins that went very well. They're waiting for our MVP. We also met with the senior executive at GM that manages the alternate energy projects. And also, we recently got approved by SAM.gov, so we're ready to receive the grant. So with this grant, the plan is to get to MVP in 10 months. So of course, it's a high-risk, high-reward opportunity, but we're definitely up to the challenge. We're Babson, of course. So the future growth, there's a lot of opportunities. One is, as I mentioned, this grant that will allow us to develop a long-haul truck solution, which is an amazing opportunity, and the DOE is very interested. And then the intermodal energy exchange opportunity, which allows to build a solution to transport energy around the country, which is a high priority for the DOE as well. And in addition, we'll also have access to DOE loan guarantees, which will allow us to build a production facility. And of course, we're here to change the world, and our company and technology aligns with a lot of the goals of the UN. And we're here to redefine energy resilience, and we're just getting started. Thank you. Yeah, so that's any questions?
You did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Thorough, which I always enjoy. I have a couple of questions, but I'll start with you. I come from a marketing perspective. This is a pretty technologically advanced solution, and you talked a bit about being a B2C, you're going to go B2C. Often, consumers are looking at it from a solely cost perspective. How would you go about marketing to the consumer if they're just looking for low cost? How do you get them to realize the value?
That's a great question. And during our interviews, that came up, obviously. And I'm lucky to have a diesel generator at home. And we all had the issues that every week they turn on for maintenance. And you go out, you can't go out to your patio, your kids can't go out because it stinks smoke. So that's a big seller. If you can remove that, and then there's the other issue that diesel typically lasts only 10 to 15 months in the tank, and then you have to replace it. Whereas we have a very, very long shelf life, and we don't have that issue. So that's a big seller too. And then financial incentives also would help. But yeah, that's one of them. So we're providing much more value. And then, in addition, the availability during an emergency. You can stack and store the cartridges in your garage, or you can pick them up, let's say, at a Home Depot, or you can have it shipped to your home. So that availability, because you can't store diesel in your garage, but in a cartridge system, we think we can do so.
I echo the same thing, great presentation. I noticed that your financing relies on grants, Department of Energy, etc., and it's a challenging time today. And so I'd love you to speak to other ways that you're thinking about financing, because I'm just a little hesitant on what's happening with the Department of Energy. And then the other question is, have you thought about strategic partnerships, particularly with companies that are using 5G and sensors to actually prevent these kinds of situations to happen?
Good question, thank you. So, yes, and after my meeting with the program director, they went very, very well. He was more excited than I was, and everything went well. A week later, or a couple of weeks later, the news about the grants happened. So, of course, I was so very stressed out. But I did some, through connections, I dig in it, and apparently we should be fine, because these grants are actually to support energy resilience, to support energy innovation, technology innovation, and so there shouldn't be a problem. However, if the grants don't happen, I'm going to be looking for angel investors for this thing. And I had a couple of conversations, but when the grant came, I said, well, wait, let me get through the grant process. I should probably know by the end of May max, and then I can take action. And then the other question was in regards to
strategic partnerships.
Oh, yes.
With companies that would be
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm definitely open to them. And I have a couple of targets, actually. I have a company in Miami that already builds generators, and called NTS. That could be a smaller partner. Or I could also go to the big boys. In addition, I have a good relationship with a company called Jabil Inc., which is the third largest contract manufacturer, electronics contract manufacturer in the world, that also has an energy division. And they're based out of Florida and Tampa, that also have a good relationship with the USF. So they can help me out also with contract manufacturing and relationship with they're heavy into IoT devices.
That was really great, Eduardo. Thank you.
Thank you.
It feels like there's this fairly significant technological investment cycle that you're going through before you're ready to go to market. What steps are you taking so when you get to market and you start knocking on doors, you're not surprised that there's no one on the other side of the door?
That's I think, one of the most important things that an entrepreneur needs to take care of, right? And we did some interviews, customer interviews, not only in this space. I actually talked to the data center space, for example, is a huge segment for this too, because they're being kicked out of cities and they're not given the licenses because of the noise and the pollution, where they can use this technology and they can put the generators actually indoors, which is pretty cool for them. And without, and they could make smaller data centers closer to the city. So we've been talking to potential clients. I also talked to people who are in storage, and just to get some feedback. The investor was actually doing a project in Texas where they want to store, with solar panels, energy, and lithium batteries, and then resell it to the grid. So, well, if we can use your technology, I'll use it any time rather than the lithium batteries. So there's appetite for hydrogen solutions, absolutely, and it opens the conversation very, very quickly, and to the point that I kind of stopped it. I'm not quite ready, so but yeah, it's been very, very good.
Are you doing anything to translate that interest to contracts that are in place in advance of your solution being available?
Not yet, not yet, because I want to start development or getting close to where I have time. Because as soon as I get the grant, I'm going to have to wait until August to start R&D, and then so 10 months after that, I'm done with MVP. So during that time, part of my job, is going to be doing that, getting contracts and getting deals done. Yeah, it's critical. I want to come to market, with clients, real clients, from the get-go.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you so much. Our next finalist is Pet Packs.
3 years ago, my dog Pache developed a party trick so cringeworthy, I started to dread my own dinner parties. Around the same time, my co-founder Nathan started receiving calls threatening him with fines. His dog's anxiety had become so disruptive that his building concierge was calling almost daily. Now, before I tell you about Pache's party trick, let me introduce the culprits and myself. This is Luna and Mocha, Nathan's two dogs, and Pache, my dog. Hi, I'm Anthony, co-founder and CEO of Pet Packs Co., and also, of course, Pache's dad. And I know you're still wondering, what was Pache's party trick? Well, let me tell you. Anytime I had a guest come over my house, he would drag his bed to the middle of the room and anxiously hump it in front of everyone. So now that you know his secret, let me tell you what happened next. One day, Nathan and I were complaining about this, swapping these dog-dad war stories with each other, and suddenly someone else jumped in, and they had a story they had to share with us about their dog. And then another friend, laughing, was telling us about their dog problem. And that's when we realized this wasn't just our problem, and it wasn't just a dog problem. It was a people problem, and that millions of people were struggling to meet the emotional and physical needs of their dogs. So we created Pet Packs Go. Our mission is to make pet health and wellness doable, not daunting. Pet parents want to do the right thing for their dogs, but it's challenging. So we use science to help with speed and efficiency. What's the cornerstone of our business? The supplement. Supplements are the answer because they use oral thin film technology, which melts on the dog's tongue and gets absorbed in 60 to 90 seconds versus 30 to 45 minutes with pills and other solutions. Ultimately, we believe that dogs are all about love. So caring for them shouldn't be complicated. And with supplements, it's easy. You peel them out, you stick it on their tongue, and it melts, allowing them to calm down quickly, and it fits into your daily life. Because the truth is, the other solutions don't really fit in. Chews are refused when you really need them, powders are hard to dose and they're messy, and pills are a struggle even on a good day. We started in 2 massive markets with evident pain points and fast-growing CAGRs, oral health and calming, because we know what it's like when your dog is freaking out during a thunderstorm and you need a solution that helps them calm down quickly. Or you've finally kicked back after a stressful day or pitch competition, and your dog jumps up on your lap, licks your face, and you suddenly smell the kibble they had for dinner or something they ate at the dog park. But Petvaxco fixes that with dental melts and Zen melts. But we're not stopping there. Because our supplements can have multiple active ingredients on the strip, we have an incredible innovation pipeline ready to come out that highlights exact pain points and helps parents with their dogs and those pain points quickly and effectively. And we're excited, so are our customers. This isn't a hypothesis, our products are live and our customers love us. We've heard of calmer car rides and cozier snuggles, finally without bad breath. So I'm not surprised to find that our customers are happy to find us, because this is a massive industry, and it's complicated and there's gimmicks and false promises. But Petvaxco is focused and founded by dog dads, so we understand our customers' pain points. And we're positioned in the fastest growing sectors of the business. As I said, oral health and calming right now. Plus, our target demographic, Millennial and Gen X pet parents, spend the most, and they also make up more than 50% of the customer market. So we're in this giant market, in the fastest growing sections of this market, in a historically recession-proof market, plus we have incredible unit economics. With 88 to 92% gross margins, Petvaxco is built to scale, especially because our products can be used in cross-channel adjustments towards feline health, and also we can cross-sell to other customers once we have additional solutions. So what have we done so far? We launched last year, and so far in 2025, we've seen 200% growth Q1 over Q1. We've had 3 times the subscribers since the start of 2025, and we're tracking 20% month-over-month growth on Amazon. Who's driving this growth? Well, as you know, our dogs prefer sleep versus work. So you have Nathan and I, 2 Babson MBAs, who have a proven track record in small business management, brand building, and also startups. We've got an incredible advisory board, including our vet, Dr. Lauren Mikowski, and 2 incredible Babson alum. And we're powered by SKU with 9 incredible mentors. With Babson, we're built smart. And with SKU, the nation's #1 CPG accelerator, we are set to scale big. But you can help. Petvaxco, as an early mover, and with market traction, it's essential that we hit the ground running. The beta challenge will help us extend our runway, crucially, and also let angel investors know that the time to jump in is now. If you're looking for traction, you found it. Petvaxco is revolutionizing pet health and wellness. And with your help, we can have care look more like love and less like work. Thank you. I thought Nathan is going to be joining me for Q&A. He has some samples.
I can go. Great job, Anthony. That was awesome. I'm actually your customer because I have a 14-year-old golden doodle, and I will get him his capsule, and I'll put it into a hot dog, and of course he will eat the hot dog and figure out how to throw the capsule.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing this. There's like a D2C brand being launched every 10 minutes, or maybe more than that. How are you guys thinking about defensibility when it comes to a product like this?
Absolutely. So we think a lot about our moat, and the main ways right now that we're defending the brand is each of our supplements has a proprietary mix that's a trade secret. There's another small company that you might have heard of that's fully defended by trade secrets, Hope. And so we're using trade secrets, but then also we're trademarking. So our names, the brand name, the dogs are copyrighted, and then we are also thinking about the larger market. So supplements that melt, supplemelts, where we believe will continue to grow in the US. And so we're trademarking those words as well so that we can defend ourselves as the original supplement brand as the market continues to advance.
That's great.
I love this, because I have a real pain point. I just adopted my brother's dog, who can't go to the vet without gabapentin and all kinds of drugs. So the question I have for you, because I've read a little bit about it, you keep referring to science-based. Can you talk a little bit about it? Because I didn't see any scientists on your leadership team, and I know you have a vet. But what is the science behind it, and how is it working?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually use Tufts Veterinary School's textbook. We pseudo-vets ourselves now after reading it so many times. But we work on our formulations from there. We then take them to our veterinary partners. You saw Dr. Lauren there. We have others who we work with as well. They make sure that the levels of each ingredient are both safe, effective, and we have a ton of white papers from different schools and different institutional knowledge that we use to inform all of our decisions. But the vet partners ultimately help us, hone in on what is best for the dogs.
Thank you.
And I didn't see as much about cost to produce and profit. Can you talk a little bit just about the financial aspects of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually just last year nearshored our manufacturing, which is feeling pretty good in the last couple of weeks. So we had originally been manufacturing internationally. We brought that home for basically the same cost. But our gross margins are, depending on the product, between 88 and 92%. So our COGS are extremely low. We're positioned in the market as a premium luxury brand. And we mitigate those costs because our product is so light. So 1 unit of the product that we shared with you is about 2 grams. So even shipping through Amazon, because our main channels right now are D2C and Amazon, we have almost no storage fees with them because they're so flat, they can be stored so easily, and they're so lightweight. And most of these companies charge based on square footage and weight in terms of shipping, and then also for storage in those cases. But if there's something more specific.
I think when you look at pet products and companies like Chewy, the idea is you acquire them and there's a high CAC or cost of acquiring them, and there's some form of subscription model and they keep buying again and again. How are you guys thinking about that? Because it seems like you're more of a premium brand in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll take half and then maybe you take half. So what we're doing right now, we have a year's worth of data that we have learned about as we've launched our first supplement, Zen Melts, and now we've launched our second supplement, Dental Melts. And so we actually are working on our price and package architecture, because what we've learned is that there are 2 different ways that our products are being used. There's situational, occasional use, and then there's daily use. And so our pricing is going to continue to evolve, because if you have a pain point like heading to the vet, and your dog's freaking out, you're willing actually to pay a little bit more for a single dose of that than you would be if you were going to give your dog this supplement every single day. Versus the dental melts, which we advertise to our customers, and it seems to be working, to say when you brush your teeth, give your dog a dental melt. That price architecture has to be a little bit lower, because we don't really want to charge too much or have them thinking very much about giving their dog a dental melt once or twice a day. I know with my dog Pache, sometimes I give him 3 times a day, because anytime he's going to cuddle with me, I'm like, whoa, and I have to, give him something before he's, all up in my face. So we do think a lot about that.
I think you
covered it all.
I think you covered everything. Was there anything else there?
No, that's great. Maybe last question from my side is, I don't know if you shared, what are you planning on using the investment for?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's crucial for us to extend our runway right now. As you said, there's a lot of D2C brands out there, and the CAC is at the onset expensive to get a customer. And so there's kind of 2 plays that you can make. You can make sure that your contribution margin is always positive and enough to reorder your supplements, or you can have this LTV play. And so we're learning that one of our supplements, the Zen Melts, is really the first. It has to have a contribution margin that makes sense. And the second, the Dental Melts, we have incredible 90-day trailing subscription retention on Amazon. And so what we'll be doing with the investment from data is extending our runway, and it's also about time that we reorder our inventory because our dental notes are kind of flying off the shelf. But we haven't hit that profitability point with those yet. So we need to have investment in order to fulfill our new inventory requirements. We also have some angel investors kind of in the wings that are willing to commit additional investment if we're able to prove that the market is supporting us. And so with the beta challenge investment, we'd be able to go back to these angels and say, the time is now, we have the support institutionally from Babson, and that would really be extremely helpful for us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Really
very
appreciate it.
much.
Oh, I have a lot. I was really sorry.
All right, are you guys ready for this? Today we're going to talk about fans. These are the data center fans. And this is the team. You already know me. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm also a commercially rated pilot. I've been in manufacturing for about 8+ years. I've also got a doctor in mechanical engineering who specializes in wind tunnel turbine testing. And a guy who's actually been working for Apple for about 8+ years as well. And Steve Rosen is my he's my contract manufacturer that liaises with me in China. So what do we do? So we have a patent-pending 4-module system. This is it. It enables us to have a circular manufacturing process that it reduces the life cycle carbon emissions for fans. And you can replace it 4 times faster, and it has 0 downtime for data centers. So how does it work? You subscribe to this process as a D2C customer or as a B2B customer if you order 1,000+ fans. And we replace it, hassle-free, 0 logistics. Whenever a part fails, just stick it into a container and then ship it back to us. And then we always have parts on stock for you. And how do we do it? Well, whenever you remanufacture a part and you ship it back over to the States, you're basically cutting out everything that's in red here. That's it. That's how we actually save the 40% carbon emissions in terms of the product. Just don't count the portion where you're operating the fan for 70,000 hours. We don't exactly know how the power is actually being generated. So here's the unit economics on the parts. The cost to manufacture for these particular 4 modules is right here on the left-hand side. But the column over to the right, those are the amount of times that we can actually recycle each one of those modules. And that means that whenever we refurbish something here in the United States, we can actually save money on the right-hand side, the anticipated replacement cost. And why are we talking about this? I mean, for data centers, fans are everywhere. Typically, centers have about 100,000 fans on the smaller side. But for an average facility here in the United States, there's 5,333 centers that are here specifically taking every one of your ChatGPT queries. And it's 22% failure rate every 12 months. That means that there is a technician, there is some guy that is unscrewing each one of these fans, and it takes 3 minutes. Versus using a right fan, it's 4 times faster, meaning that for every 100,000 fans that you're replacing, you're saving 300 hours. So here's the sales process for us. It's basically just a B2B process. I basically just stuck the timeline there just for a little bit of a framing scenario. Here's our forecast. For 2025, these numbers are actually real. We actually baked in 47.3% tariff costs because of what's been happening with the current administration. So this includes our warehouse, this includes our labor, this includes the product that's actually coming in, this includes the customer conversations that we've been talking to. And looking forward, so we're not just creating a CPU cooling fan, but a fan is a fan is a fan. So now we're actually talking about turbines. And this is the product development pipeline. So for this year, we're launching the right fan. And these are the industries that we can actually tap into. Cryptocurrency, data centers, telecommunications, EV battery manufacturers, and small drones. We're literally copy-pasting the rotor and the stator system into drones, and then providing a more energy-efficient solution. And then in 2027, we're going to be having the right turbine, and it's going to be for cinematography drones. Higher powered situations for longer durability with the same battery architecture. And then in 2030, we want to build a flying car for you that's under $100,000. I'm serious. The biggest cost to that is the engine, and we can tackle it. And as a side quest, we want to reduce carbon emissions globally by 500 million tons just with our products. We can do it through the refurbishing process. So the right turbine. This looks like some really good CAD, Justin. Is it real? Yep. And tested. This is the 5th generation prototype. And we're still moving. Joby, one of the companies that's actually going through FAA type certification right now, is offering a flight from downtown Manhattan to JFK. 7 minutes. Here are some other concepts. And Jetson One is a car that you can actually purchase today. No certification needed. No license. And the $25,000, we're going to put as a down deposit for the warehouse so that we can provide a flying car for you guys in 2030. Thanks, guys. All right, where do you want to start?
Great job, and awesome suit, jacket.
Thank you.
So just to reconfirm, like this is a fan that goes into, like, as a component in a data center, is that right? So it's probably the size of...
It's right here.
All right, perfect, so I can see it now. Great, great. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense once you see it like that. Tell us more about, like, distribution, because you're going after data centers where, let's just say Cisco owns the data center. You're a part in the data center, or a component. Are you trying to, like, sell to the Ciscos, or are you trying to sell to the buyer of a Cisco data center?
The conversations that we've been having with data centers, now I'm not sure about Cisco specifically.
Just as an example.
Yeah,
you know.
but like HPE,
Sure.
Dell Technologies, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, these guys, they create or they custom create their own cabinets. So they utilize this fan everywhere. I mean, everybody uses it. It's a standard fan. But in terms of actually breaking into that supply chain, we didn't really get anywhere there. So that's why we actually pivoted over to the crypto market, and the sales cycle was significantly shorter. So the data centers, what they want is testing, 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 testing. So it's 12 to 18 months. For the cryptocurrency market, it's 3 to 6 months. These guys are hungry for something that's more energy efficient and for something, ironically, that's more sustainable as well. Plus, contingency planning. Now with China, they're actually facing a little bit of a shortage with CPU cooling fans. But they have stock on hand at the moment. So they're not really that hungry just yet.
Can you speak to the customer being willing to, if something isn't working, to send it back? It seems like a lot. So is the customer really going to do that? And how cumbersome will that be?
Yeah. So, in terms of the life cycle process for these fans, this is the entire life cycle. So, whenever it gets manufactured, whenever you purchase it, they actually have to landfill these fans. So, if you have 100,000 fans or a tech that's actually removing these fans, 22,000 of them, and then landfilling them, that's a hassle. So what we want them to do is actually stick the components into a reusable container and then stick a FedEx label on it and then ship it back to us. No hassle in terms of landfilling, no hassle in terms of garbage disposal, nothing. Just stick it in a container and then ship it out. That's it.
Thank you. Great job. Enjoyed it very much. So it seems to me there's a lot of opportunity available. Can you talk just a little bit about, you sort of looked at data centers, you looked at the long lead time there, crypto's a little shorter. I am concerned about wanting to be all things to all people, right? And too broad of a market opportunity. Do you plan to hone in specifically? Is crypto the thing? Is there a particular other market that you think might really grab onto this? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
You're talking about the CPU cooling fan.
Yes, sorry.
So for the CPU cooling fan, these are the industries that utilize this standard fan. The only industry that doesn't use this fan particularly is the small drones. However, because of the modularity, we're able to basically copy-paste the rotor and the stator. So it's essentially taking the same components and then utilizing it in a different industry. And that's one of the things that's been facing Boeing. So their quality control, everything that's going on with them at the moment, a door flying off of the airplane, I think you guys have heard about it, right? So it's a boom and a bust cycle. What we did is we wanted to increase the volume specifically on these components and then flatten out the curve, no matter the boom or bust.
All right.
I'll do one more since we've got like 4 minutes left. I like the play of airflow as a service, software as a service. Sounds like the numbers are doing the talking. I think you had a slide where, I guess if you go back to the slide, I think I saw.
Right here.
Oh, the revenue slide.
Oh.
So revenue year to date projected is 14 million?
Yeah, so that's with 75,000 for the first 3 months. So we've got 25,000 starting in August, September, and October, and then it increases to 200,000 in November, and then in December as well.
And that's all going to be on that part as a subscription?
Yes, yes. So this financial forecast is only the CPU cooling fan.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the turbine.
Mm-hmm. What happens when the crypto buyers who have their own data centers and their racks and stuff like that want to buy everything from one vendor, which is like the machine, that piece, just from a convenience standpoint, not to deal with multiple vendors?
Yeah, so we're actually currently in those discussions as well. So one of the components that's in here is the ball bearing system. For these particular cryptocurrency farms, the ball bearing actually, it fails in 6 months, and it's either due to dust or it's due to salt corrosion. It could be a variety of different things. But what these guys do is they unscrew it and then they landfill the component. For us, we don't want you to do that. We just want you to take out the component, 45 seconds, stick in another one, and then put it into a reusable container and then ship it off to us. Then we can do the refurb process here in the States instead of actually remanufacturing in China and then going through that entire process, reducing 40% carbon emissions.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm a judge later. Have you ever heard of Barry English or Paul Prager?
No, I haven't.
So Barry English is the largest developer of data centers in the world. He just sold He's built probably 20. He's a good friend of mine. Your sell-in to get into, because a lot, like Prager, New York guy, as I think his third, he's in energy, starting to build data centers. It's very complex.
Yeah.
Very.
That's why we're starting with the crypto market. They're just a bunch of tech bros.
Right. Well, I'm cautioning you. You know, I'd sit in these meetings because I'm friends and learn about their business, and the sell-in is going to be really difficult.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Which is why it's a 12 to 18 month process.
Right. Because navigating to get in to do something like this, you know, because when you develop a data center, there are more opportunities when someone has built one and then they're trying to farm out the capabilities of the data center.
You're talking about supplier agreements.
Right.
So in
Yeah.
my previous lifetime, I worked with a tier 1 automotive supplier, producing millions of door hinges and door checkers, another commodity product.
What about aerospace?
Aerospace, I'm just a commercial pilot.
Okay. But I mean, I just happen to have a lot of experience in these. You know, if I was considering investing, like a lot of red flags come up because I know what they're facing on a day-to-day basis. I'm not saying it's not a great idea, but that 12 to 18 months.
It's hard, yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
lot of testing.
Right.
And with this particular component, I mean, just the novelty alone in the fan system, they're wanting to see the robustness in
Right.
terms of replacing the modules over and over and over again. So
We're at time. Thank you. Thank you, Judge. And thank you, judges, and thanks, Jonathan, as well. So we're going to transition over now to the graduate tracks. We'll just take a moment here. Thank you.